was working in the business school to just help them with um, digitalization, helping them with strategy for content. And eventually, my school decided that because you were able to do this for the business school, will allow you to do this for a hot water bottle company, which is where my digital marketing career ended. I said I can't do that. I did try to work for this company, but I didn't know how to market hot water heater. If anybody knows how to do that, please let me know what the strategy is to get people to buy hot water heaters in their house. It was very complicated, but I did my best. But from there on, I went on to software engineering and learned software engineering, learned how to be an innovation manager at Angle. I started building softwares. I started building applications for small businesses, and then all the way down to now that I build big, massive structures for organizations. As you hear, I work for Silicon Valley Product Group, so I build products for like HP and the rest of them like that. It stemmed from there on to learning data science. As I mentioned, now I do data science. But in this process of doing all these learning, and I'm talking about the learning because while you're learning something, you should be doing something with it. So while I was learning this, I started my first company called Echo Africa. Echo Africa, ECO stands for Environment, Community, and Organization. I remember I told you if you wanted to compare two places in Nigeria now, you only use all these things like your tribes and maybe money. But if you use the ECO, you can measure effectively. So environmental data of a place, the community data of that place, and the organizational data of that place. You can actually compare two cities more effectively. We started this and we're able to solve problems effectively, and we're still building that till now for the past 8 years. And I moved back to Africa, and I decided to focus on getting young people to build tech that is for good. Because if we don't do that in Africa, we then get a lot of people building tech or learning tech just because they wanted to make money. But if you do something that is good, money will find you. That's what I always think. So if you're always doing something good, money will find you. Check it out, even in your own personal life. And if you're Christian, you even know that the thoughts of God towards us is of good and not evil, to give us hope and expected end. So good is valuable. And if God is thinking good and he's one of the richest in the world, then I'm sure good will always bring you money. And that's how it has been working in my life. And that's why I decided to give it to young people. We do great things in Tech for Good Africa. Exciting things like time currency, you can contribute your time. We also do orientation to just help people to understand how to get into tech and stuff like that. And then we build solutions for startups. We give them time from young people that have learned skills, and we help them to build their skills from that. And so many things happen in Tech for Good Africa with the young people that run it. I personally don't have to do much work there. The amazing young people like yourselves on this call today are the ones who run Tech for Good Africa. And it's led me now to my job where I manage now Innovate Africa Foundation. I'm all about building product. We have a conference for product managers, product designers, and then later the year. But why I've taken you through this story is to say, in all of these things, technology is the future. You cannot do anything without technology. And so I'll drill down now to just what I've been told to talk about here today, which is artificial intelligence. Can someone just tell me what artificial intelligence means on the group chat? There's another data to go out to everybody here. So if you know what artificial intelligence is, please put it on the group chat. I just want to see the first person to put that definitely will get another credit from myself. Okay, so artificial intelligence. I wouldn't tell you the definition because I'm looking for someone to put it out there. But artificial intelligence is the future of the world. We're seeing today, I woke up today and I was watching a video and they were saying that artificial intelligence is taking a lot of water. And I thought, that's interesting. Like it's actually taking water away from the world, which means everything around the world would wrap around artificial intelligence. Because what I say before is that before we got here with artificial intelligence, we actually had man-made intelligence. Infusing human intelligence into machines. Amazing. Anjola Paul. Let me read Musa's Yusuf's own. Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think, learn, and perform tasks that typically require human cognition. T. Okay, I hope you didn't copy that one from Google, but it sounds very complicated. I think my winner here is Anjola. And whoever is taking notes of these things, please follow up with me so I can give Anjola and Modesta, both of them, they're 5,000 naira for data. Anjola, you are the winner of this. Musa, you need to do faster. I think I can see you popping up, but you're not doing as fast as I expect you to. So maybe my next question, because I might give one more. Who knows? Let's see how it goes. So Angela and Modesta, you were also moderating. I don't understand how you decided to now take 5,000 naira, but it's all good. Um, Anyway, so like I was saying, artificial intelligence is correct. It's about taking the human intelligence and putting it into machine, programming it to make sure that it works. It produces some sort of functionality. You can attach robots to it. You can attach a machine learning to it. You can attach data science, data analysis to it. You can attach design to it. Artificial intelligence sort of captures everything that a human would normally do and put it into a computer to do it. Fascinating enough, 2 days ago, I was sitting in a meeting and I was telling the guys I was sitting in the meeting with, there are guys that have come from the US. We're actually at the Lagos startup, which I'm still wearing the shirts. And this was not like I wanted to wear the shirt. I told you it was very impromptu that I should come on here and speak about this. So I was just really in my house wearing these shirts. But we're in the Lagos startup week 2 days ago. And I asked the guys while we're sitting there, top guys, intelligent guys, I'm like, how can we get AI to build amala and gbegiri soup? Like, and I'm saying this for a reason. Guys, if anybody knows the steps we can take to get AI to build amala and gbegiri, please put it on the chat. Maybe somebody will win another 5,000. But we had exciting conversations about that because we're looking at one of the fascinating things that I said first was that the AI would have to peel yam. And after peeling the yam, again, robots, thank you so much, Dairo. The robots will have to peel yam, but before the robot peel that yam, you would have had to train the robots through data science on how to peel yam. And so with data science, what you do is this is how to peel yam. Maybe you showcase to the machine, the program, that the program you're trying to do here is cutting yam. You see the process that it takes. When human beings were doing it, I don't know how long it took us to make sure amala became a thing or begiri became a thing. I don't know where amala and begiri comes from. Does anybody know? Please let me know. But I don't know how they knew, like they built amala and begiri. But imagine giving that to an AI. Ogbomoso, interesting. Thank you so much, Ruth. I don't know how they did that, but what we were saying was that they will start have to write a program first on just teaching the computer how to cut yam. Then after teaching the AI how to cut yam, we have to teach the AI how to wait for the yam to dry. Now, when he cuts that yam, the yam that he cuts, what does he do with the other yam? You have to now train it on saying you have to boil this yam and give people to eat. Now, so look at all these steps that exist in doing this. That means artificial intelligence is at the end game of everything, which is eventually this machine will be able to make amala and begiri. But there's so much that happens before it gets to become an intelligence machine that's making amala and begiri. And that's where you come in. You're coming into that place of what is the design of that? What is the data of yam and begiri? How is it that they cut yam? So if you're looking at artificial intelligence, you know that it just has a connectivity to a lot of things. And that is why we need you, every one of you, to get into tech. Because why? From every angle you're getting into tech. For example, think of doing business analysis. If you're doing business analysis, as a business analyst, you have to analyze. Let's stick to the example of amala and begiri. I'm not really an amala and begiri person. I really have not even eaten it before, which is awkward. I need to eat it since I'm using this example. But the amala and begiri scenario, if you're a business analyst, you would have to analyze what is the business of making amala and what is the business of making begiri to now digitalize the process of what it means to digitalize that process, you as a business analyst. And that's just a business analyst. You don't have to do more than that. That's your role. Learn how to just take processes that it's physical and digitalize the process for the different people that are going to build it to come on board. And then after that, you can then give it to a product manager. And the product manager has to write a PRD document, say, this is how I'm going to take the process of building this. And then if there's different angle of it, which there will be inside that PRD document, you can have the designing part of things, to the development part of things, to the data part of things, to the different parts of it. These things form artificial intelligence. So why am I saying here today is artificial intelligence is the future. We've seen artificial intelligence change a lot of things, from things like health. We're seeing artificial intelligence beating people, even intelligence with health. We're seeing it in chatbots with ChatGPT. I'm sure everyone here already knows about ChatGPT. We're seeing it in insurance. We're seeing it in literally every sector. And that's why I've given this example of amala and beggary, because it's one of the, like, food you have to eat every day. Think about artificial intelligence making your food in the coming future. So artificial intelligence is very important, it's very key. Some of the just bear me 1 second here. I like to just do this. So I'm also not just give me a second. Okay, so I wanted to just get three things here. Yeah, I wanted to get three things here. Okay, so there are three things that artificial intelligence has to do. One is artificial intelligence has to reason. I really wanted to go see that again. It has to reason, it has to learn, and it has to act. And I'll just talk about these three parts of what the artificial intelligence has to do. And then I'll talk about the different types of artificial intelligence. And I'll just give some inspiration here today on why like I said, I really want you to know why you should be going into tech and why you should be doing this. Reasoning in artificial intelligence. I mentioned that what artificial intelligence needs is data. And so for the artificial intelligence to reason, it needs data. For, like, I said to somebody the other day, I said, why are you building what you're building? And the person said, because I want to make money. I want to solve this problem. And I said to the person, what is the reason? The person said, that is the reason. I said, if you told a computer that, the computer will not think this is the reason. You have to give the computer concrete data on why that is. Sometimes somebody wants to start a startup and they're like, oh, it's because my family has not eaten. And it's like, it's only your own family that it faced that. Not everybody faced it. Why are you trying to launch a startup for only? The computer will not allow that. So you need to give the computer a lot of data. One of the biggest problems we're having in Africa right now in the AI race is that we don't have data. And not only do we not have data, we don't have data that is digitalized. Who has ever been to a government office before? And when you get to that government office, there's still a big foolscap sheet there that you have to write your name, the time you came in, the time you left, signature. And they have piles of them. None of them have been digitalized. So if you wanted to make computers now say, what is the intelligence of this government office? It has no reasoning. It does not know anything. You have not given it anything to reason. So definitely we need you, young people, all of us, even me, to digitalize more data. You need to be going into companies. You need to be launching startups that are focused on taking data and digitalizing them. That's one angle. So you see that there's so much opportunities there already. At the moment, I already do that for companies. I'm doing one for Electa now, converting data from women in politics from the Fourth Republic of Obasanjo until now. This data was in the Senate House, but it was in a big book. They actually wrote it inside a big book in the Senate House. It's just there. And our job was, we were paid from Electa to take those data. So you see, people pay to actually convert data from books to digital formats. It's actually a job. So we, as a company, and I've given this to young people to do, to take this data and convert them into digital copies, but not only just convert them to digital copies, create, I'm sure this is now an extra level now of data analysis, analyzing the data to say, this is how much women were there, this is what the women did, this is what they contributed to, so that by the time this reasoning is finished, we can now go on to the learning. And then when I go to learning for artificial intelligence, the learning has to do with training the data to continuously see. So I do data science, and our role is to train data. We have to train and test, train and test. And in that, you have to see whether the computer is overfitting or underfitting. And if you, again, sorry, these are just big terms. But when I say overfitting or underfitting, is in technology, everything we're doing is 0 to 1. So the computer only knows 0 to 1. The computer does not know yes or no. It does not know give me rice, give me beans. It does not know that. You have to convert all those give me rice, give me beans to 0 to 1. So imagine I'm training a computer. Let's go back to Amala and Beggary. Imagine I'm training the computer to say, I've given you all the data. I've given you yam. I've given you, turn the yam to yam powder. I've given you the ingredient for Beggary soup, the oil, the water, all of it. I've given the computer all of that. Now, the computer has a reason to do something. It knows all the reasoning. It knows there's yam, there's this, there's that. But now I have to train it to say it has to make the best amala. Now, do you think in the coming future that computers will learn to make better amala than that woman that makes amala in Ibadan or Bomosho? Or do you think that they will continue to be the ones to be? So now that's what we have to do as data scientists. And that's what you can do as a data scientist, to train the computer continuously. Say, I'll give you the data, you run simulations on it, I give it layers. So in data science, this is how they put it. You put input. So let's say I give it yam. And then after I give it yam, I'll put different layers that cut the yam like this, do the yam like this, different layers, and then to now have output of it has cut the yam best. So in those layers, what I'm doing is putting test train. So the computer is testing itself whether it can cut the yam. It's also training itself while it's doing that. So it will cut the yam and then check itself that, oh, I cut the yam like this. Was it good? It will train itself that I should do it better the next time. So by the time it gets to output, it is the best cutter of yam for amala, which you as a human being already do. So that part of learning is the next level of artificial intelligence. Then the third part of artificial intelligence is for it to act. So now the output of when it has gone, taking this reasoning data, it has already learned how the data is done. It's now acting on it. It's now making amala. It's now making begiri through the fact that it has taken all those data of what it's reasoning. It has put different layers to learn and test. It has tested itself to the point where it has become powerful. And there's so much in data science to do that. There's supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and so on and so forth. And I think, guys, you want to choose a sector that you're passionate about in tech and get into it. No matter where you come from, even if you are a doctor, there's something in tech for you. Even if you are a carpenter, there's something in tech for you. If you are a tailor, there's something in tech for you. If you are a veteran, there's something in tech for you. Retired, there's something in tech for you. There's always something in tech for everybody. So find what you're passionate about and look at what the part of tech that is already happening in that sector you are in and start to align yourself to it. So just going back to the acting, the computer starts to act on this data, and that is artificial intelligence. It reasons, it learns, and then it acts. And that's what we're trying to do. And in the middle of all of this, there are different skills that go into it, from developer to data analyst to all the other stuff that exists. Now, I wanted to share the 4 types of intelligence that we have in AI. So one of the 4 types of AI we have is reactive machines. So machines that react because you said something. ChatGPT is one of the biggest one. So you write to ChatGPT, give it a prompt, it reacts back to you. Straightforward machine. There's the other one that's called limited memory. So with this one, you don't give it too much stuff. You let it run on its own. So sort of like, I'm looking for an example that I can use. Like, I don't know if you've seen those MIT robots that have 4 legs. They tell them to jump into something. They don't give them they don't have a lot of memory. So reactive machines have more memory than limited memory artificial intelligence, because with limited memory, they only have one thing they should do. Okay, you know what? The best one I can use is self-driving cars. Self-driving cars only has to drive. It doesn't do more than that. Okay, I'd love to add reason, learn, examples, AI. Okay, there we go. So scenario reasoning, then scenario learning. Amazing. Thank you so much, Modesta, for putting that in there. Dairo is already giving us more types of artificial intelligence, which is self-awareness. That's totally true. So let's just, go through it. Limited memory. So self-driving cars can be one of the examples that exists. It just only needs speed, direction. It doesn't need to have all the data like ChatGPT, where you want to know anything, you tap into ChatGPT. This is limited memory. It only does this type of thing, and then it's learning that thing to the mastering of that particular thing that it's working on. Another one is the theory of the mind. The theory of the mind is that, and this is interesting because I can see, how do we so theory of the mind is to make sure that machines start to have the emotions and the behavior of a human being. So you look at this now with humanoids and things like that. it has to be like an AI that adjusts because of us. It's called theory of the mind because of it adjusts because of us. I think the best one I can use now is Facebook putting AI into Instagram, which is because of what you said, because of what you are scrolling in, you start to see some things that are making you want to nudge you into those movements. That's the best ones I can say for the theory of the mind. I know we're having another level of theory of the mind with the Elon Musk chips in the head and things like that. But the final part is the self-awareness, which this is the final step of AI. And I don't know when we'll get to that point, but anybody that has seen iRobots knows that if AI starts managing themselves, they get to that self-awareness part. Uh, I don't know what we'll be doing, whether they'll be the one, maybe AI will be our president, which we see now. We actually have an AI governor running for campaign in the last election in the United Kingdom, which was brilliant to see that we had an AI guy running for, like the AI was running to be Prime Minister of England. Please check it out and see more about that. So imagine the AI just being like human beings, just living his life, living in short, you won't even know who is human being and man anymore. But that's a long-term coming from now where we're going. Now, okay. So why should you get into tech? Why should you do AI? Why should you do these things? What is the purpose of doing it? And I'm going to just only stick to the fact of being African. I don't want to do more than that because if I say become a tech person for the global world, it's going to be too much. So I'm going to give you, I'll give you a scenario, a process of why you should do this. And then I'll give you something to take away today that can help you to see how to go into the tech. Now, I always say these three things. I said, as a person, and I tell this to a lot of tech people, you have to act to create art. So, and I'll, please, if you're writing down, please take notes of these things because they're very inspirational for the way that you start to determine your future in tech. You have to act to create art. So act is ACT. You have to act to create an art. So ART. In the middle of it, what you do is that you sow. So if you're a farmer, you act by sowing to reap food or whatever it is that you can reap. If you are a doctor, you have to act, sow in maybe your skills to reap the art of being, of healing somebody. So whatever act you do paints a picture for some people, it paints picture for people. Now, I'll tell you why I'm using these acronyms, because I'm such an acronym person and I'm an economist. So what we do is acronym: GDP, GNP, ECHO, like I've told you about what I work on today. ACT. And if you know all the C's that exist: competence, character, capability, capacity, please put all the C's inside this ACT. But what it means is that you must be accountable for your capacity, your character, your competence, I know there's about 7 C's. I don't have them on the top of my head and I'm not looking at them right now. But you must be accountable of those C's, of your time, thoughts, and talents. Please write these things down because this is why you should get into tech. Because your time, your thoughts, and your talent is what is being converted into artificial intelligence. If you see jobs, they say artificial intelligence will take away jobs. The only thing why you are doing a job is because of the hours you are contributing to something. If it's not the hours you are putting into it, again, they say job is 40 hours a week full time. The AI will take away that time. The other part that it can take away is your thoughts, the things you were thinking about. So AI cannot think of amala and begiri. It is man that thought of amala and begiri. AI just takes the thought of that man's amala and begiri and turns it into a program language. So you see now that your thought is another powerful one. The other one is your talents. Even Jesus Christ talks about talents in the Bible. Give 3 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent, when to bury it. If you are accountable of the seeds of this time, thought, and talents, it helps you to sow effectively. Now, I'll talk about sow before I talk about arts. So when you have done this, and this why you should get into tech is also a sort of like how you should do it. And I want to leave it as a why, because if you are accountable of your character, of your time, thought, and talent, you will know that it's time for me to go and learn tech in this. Maybe I was a lawyer, so my thought of law, I need to go and do something about tech in that law. So I should spend my time learning 2 hours of tech every week, maybe business analysts, so that I can be able to help people that are doing law to say, you can do law in GDP, or learn about data, because law is very close to things like NDPR in Nigeria now, which is National Data Protection Right or something, or Act or something like that. So you want to start taking 2 hours to say, let me learn about that so I can understand where that is taking me to. So being accountable of your, that C, there's 7 of them, of your time, thought, and talents. Now, SOW, you have to make sure that what it is that you use that act to do produces a skill, produces a speech, produces a seed. And seed now could even be seed funding. It could be you are contributing your time or something. These 3S, your speech, your skill, your seed, must match to the opportunity that is the people's will and God's will. I'm using God's will because I'm a Christian, but most times is what is in your environment that determines the technology that should be there or the innovation that is there. So if your skill is not matching to your village people problem, you are not ready to help anybody. And that's why I say we need to do tech for Africa. We need to learn these skills for Africa, because why? There are places that need technology. There are places that need these solutions to help their lives. I mean, people are dying. Prosthetic is another technology for people's leg. We know in African countries now, the bombs are destroying people's leg. We know that artificial intelligence has been able to even diffuse or determine sickness in a person's body by just looking at the person, but we don't have any data of African people for the artificial intelligence to see sickness in African people. That's a limitation. White people are already using artificial intelligence to check themselves for sickness, for pain, and tackling it where it is. They don't have any data of black genes, black melanin. It does not exist. So how is your skill matching to the opportunity of our will? The will of the people here is that health should be a big issue. Food should be sorted. Amala and beggary should be given to everybody part-time. If AI is making it, it reduces the time. Most of us will become farmers, and then the AI will be making the amala and beggary. Are you getting the point of why when you act, make sure that you are sowing, make sure that your skill, your speech, your seed is matching to the opportunity that is God's will and the people's will. Even your own will. What will you do? What it is that you're going to do? And that one will take us into purpose, talking about purpose and things like that. But I wouldn't go deep into that. This thing I just told you that I'm rushing through like this is a whole session on leadership. But thirdly, you have to create art. And why? Whatever you have done through your acting and sewing must also now create a point where everybody looks at it and they can think to themselves, oh, we will all be accountable and responsible now for that time, thought, and talent that you have given us, that you have put in. Because the art now would be that people will be able to say, oh, wow, I would keep this safe. If you look in Nigeria now, we don't have any technology that we're protecting, but we were able to fight for Twitter during NSAS. We're protecting the technology as if it was us that built it. We're writing hashtag everywhere. It was not our technology. The data is not even with any African person. The government said did not receive that data. It's with Twitter in America. But we're fighting for it. Why? Because the person that has built it, he was very accountable for his capacity of his time, thought, and talent to make something that is sold in his own country, that his people can use, to create an art that you were able to use and be carrying everywhere as a picture and saying, oh, Twitter, we use it to do NSAS, use it to do NSAS. You have now become responsible for that technology. So why am I saying this? Every skill you're learning in technology today is to create an art for our nation, is to beautify our nation, is to make sure that everywhere is okay. You want to build technologies that are checking why people are putting holes on the road of Lekki because they want cars to crash so that Agberos, they will come and fix your car for you and collect money. There should be a camera doing that. Have you thought about how you can develop such things like that? Have you thought about what is happening with the government in their structuring? Can data solve problems can digitalization of their process problems in those places? These concepts are things of why I've given you why you should do tech, why you should get into tech. Why you should get into tech. Now, I said I was going to do something else apart from just sharing the acts so art concept. I was going to talk about something else in relation to that. I'm asking the Holy Spirit to help me. But again, the why should be your reason. It should be your first point of contact to getting into this tech. Now, what are the processes that you need to take to then become an artificial intelligence professional? The different levels. Artificial intelligence has levels just the same way as building a whole website entirely. There's a person that is writing the product of that, the innovation. There's a person that is designing the structures, the processes of that development. There's a person that is doing data analysis for it, data science of it. And data science is very interesting because we work closely with the data engineer, and the data engineer is the person that must make sure that if I write a program for a computer, so for instance, the computation, I told you now, what would be the computation of a computer or a robot building, making amala and begiri? It will require a lot of code. And if you run that code on a server, that server can actually destroy the whole earth because the server will be running so fast, heat will be polluting everywhere. The earth can just become so hot and water will flood everywhere. That's why, if you heard my background, I'm about how do we make sure that innovation and sustainability matches? Because we can be innovating a lot of these things, and at the same time, we just destroy our planet. So data engineering, these are some of the skills that you need to go get: data science, data engineering, data analysis, product manager, developer, to be someone that writes or design artificial intelligence. And it's become the forefront of a lot of things. So one of the even jobs that we give to people now in my organization is just helping people convert data to LLM. So LLM is learning language management system, something like that. And JSONs. And these things I just said to you now are those are the only thing that AI can read. If you write English for AI, it won't read it. So if you take a CSV data, for example, CSV means comma separated value. It's what is used in Excel. I'm sure most of you know. If you take that data now and give it to AI, it cannot do anything about it. It will be like, I don't know what this is. So we data science take that and convert it to JSONs or convert it to LLM so that the computer, the computation can understand what it is that data is. And so it can be able to now test itself, train itself on those sort of things. So yes, I will encourage you that artificial intelligence can literally solve most of all our problems that we have in Africa. The future that I would like to see, and I encourage you today to do, is the fact that our land, African land, can tell us ways that we can do better for it. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. One of the biggest things that's happened to Africa is the extraction of our natural resources. The United Nations in 2015 said, they put out the data to Africans. They said, Africans, you are losing $80 billion yearly. Oh, my brain. $80 billion yearly from things robbed from Africa. Now, think about it from 1960 to 2024. If you calculate 80 billion every year, maybe some years now, they even did 120 billion. Calculate it every year. Do you know the amount of potential value that we have lost in this country? Now imagine we had AI that was telling us that this is what the natural resources in this place, this is why you should learn this skill. And our AI was talking to us about our land. There are ways that we'll be interacting back with that AI to be able to make sure that we protect the value of that land. So artificial intelligence has potential. I just gave that as an example. So you can understand the potential granular potential why you should get into tech, why you should move into tech. Now, that is only from a Africa point of view because I'm very passionate about Africa. But also, it exposes you to opportunities that are outside of this country. For example, I work for Silicon Valley and I'm in Nigeria. Me working in Silicon Valley, because of what I do, they pay me to do what I do, to build products, to solve products. The reason why is because I've learned a tech skill that is matching to the global world. So don't forget, make sure that the skill that you're learning is matching to the opportunity that is the people's will and God's will. Because how can somebody say to you now that AI is demonic? Is it God's will, or is he which will is it that it's happening so fast? That means everybody wants it. That means you should be thinking to yourself, I should be learning a skill that match up to AI since everybody's talking about AI. If tech is the thing being spoken about right now, make sure that your skill is matching to that. There is a mass opportunity in AI at the moment. So much opportunity, jobs everywhere. If literally any one of you right now study data science, data analysis, please come and meet. I'll give you a job instantly. You have money because there's so much opportunity with the AI that people are looking for people with that skill. Everybody's looking for skill. Do you have data analysis skill? Do you have data science skill? Do you have data engineering skill? Can you do DevOps? Everybody's looking for those tech guys now to put them into solutions because we need a lot of tech solutions. Another example would be corruption in the leadership of Africa. Imagine that our processes for the government was AI driven. You won't have to go to passport office and be queuing for it. The AI would have told you your passport is expiring. This is what you need to submit. This is where in short, the AI might even be tapping the data for you and say all your data is completed. Just pay, and you just pay, and your passport is ready. It's bringing your passport to your house. Think about things. Think about a world like that. So I don't know how long my session is, but I think I've spoken now for about 40 something minutes, and all I just really wanted to do today was just share with you, again, like I said, my story, share with you some of the what AI is and the types of AI that exists and where AI is going. And really just leave you with that nugget to inspire you. The idea was just to inspire you that here is a structure for you to actually get into tech. Do not think to yourself that, oh, it's too much. I can't learn tech. Guys, I've learned so much skills. And thank you, Holy Spirit. It just came back to me now. I said I was going to give you a process on how to get into tech. And so thank God I got it back. Now, I do acronyms a lot. And Einstein, who's the father of electricity, they say he's the father of electricity. There's also the old fact of Tesla and the rest of them. But Einstein came up with the formula E equals MC squared. And I was going to give another 5,000 naira now for who's going to tell me what E equals MC squared means. But I'll just share what it means. Energy is equals to media. Energy is equals to mass, capacity, and capacitor. You remember I told you about the C before in the act. Now, energy is interesting because energy needs a mass. So I'm literally talking from a computer now. The energy of this computer is that it has to have a capacitor inside of it, but it also has to have the capacity to hold the energy. And that would be how I'll calculate the energy of this MacBook that I'm using here. The energy of this MacBook is the mass of the MacBook, so how big it is in comparison to the capacity and the capacitor. So any one of you that knows NVIDIA, you know that the guy, what is winning now most on is making artificial intelligence chips smaller. So the capacity of it is making it smaller. And that's the whole idea of energy. And so when I came to Nigeria, I was like, how am I going to show young people that energy is the future of everything? Technology, energy is going to be managing everything. We have been talking about power for so long in Nigeria. It's not even a talk again. But you start mentioning apologies. My laptop, as I was talking about energy, my laptop energy went off. But yeah, it happens. So as I was saying, energy. So a computer's energy. So how is that going to show the African youths that we're not building technology just to collect more dollars? We're building technology to make sure that energy is used effectively to build better systems. So you see, NVIDIA is making a lot of money because it can reduce the size of technology to smaller size. Normally before, look at the cell phones we used to have. We used to have big, massive cell phones. But because of the study of E equals MC squared, we have been able to reduce cell phones to have Apple phones that is now smaller, compressed. The whole point of the technology is not because we want to make money. Let me just do technology to make money.
But can you do technology to make things more efficient? Can we make energy more efficient? Stop using too much generator. Can we make a technology that makes estates share their electricity? You see why tech is so. So we coined out something in Tech for Good Africa, and I'll give it to everybody here today. Please write it down if you're writing. E equals md cube. Energy is equals to. The reason why I'm giving you this is wherever you are, whatever you are doing in this life right now, these things I just mentioned are the tech around what you do. If you work in an organization, these are the tech that's around you. If you're in an organization, it's energy that they're using. The electricity they're using to power your social media. Like, remember I said E is equals to md cube. Your media is used to power the data of that company. Even if it's the biro you're using to write something, somebody produced that biro with electricity. E equals md cube. Remember? Media, or it's data, or it's design. Somebody designed that company, designed the building you are living inside, designed the website you're even using to run your company, to the digitalization. So if you are a person that wants to get into tech, especially even from this artificial intelligence point of view, you want to be able to look at which of this angle do I want to. Do I want to go into the energy part of things where I'm now working on renewable energies? I'm working on things like clean energy. I'm working on things like reducing sizes of data sets so that it doesn't run the computation so much. These are one of the things to do in energy. Media, am I doing videography, content creation? Am I doing journalists? Am I doing social media? What is it am I doing in media? Is it data? Am I doing data analysis, data science, data engineering? Am I doing big data? Which of them are you doing? Is it design, UI UX, product design, graphics designer? Is it digitalization, software engineering, developer? Use this model to enter into the tech. As I'm speaking to you guys, this model is what I've used to train myself, read books around things, be able to even I can picture a whole city using the E equals md cube. I can look at Lagos now and be like, the energy of Lagos, the reason why it's happening like this is because the media is not matching to this part. And you mentioned other types of intelligence. I only got the limited and reactive. So I think the other two that we mentioned was the emotion. Oh God, I was reading that for my computer. So please just bear me a second. Let me just search them again. And again, you can type this on Google, type of artificial intelligence. Again, I don't even try to disturb my brain too much, except is yes, the theory of the mind and self-aware. There's also super AI, and there's also the one that everybody's scared of, which is AGI, which is the artificial general intelligence. So it just knows everything. But those ones are too extreme. Let's not go into super AI, artificial intelligence. Right now, even I'm still fighting with my lecturer in data science that what if the computer overfits? So we're always talking about underfitting and overfitting. What if the computer, like when I'm training it now super fits? Let's put it that way, because it's underfitting, overfitting. What if it super fits? That means the computer knows more than what I trained it to do. It's now doing past what I tell it to do. I told it learn this thing like this. It now went to go and be overlearning. It now went to go and master the thing more than me, and it's now doing what would that look like? And I don't know if we are going to ever see that world, but it's probably possible to see that in the coming future. All right, guys, I think I'll stop here. And I hope I've been able to give you, some strategy on how to design yourself for the tech world. But not only that, hoping that I've also given you a method to be able to harness, or a formula. I don't want to call it a method now, a formula for you to be able to get yourself into tech, or be able to look at your environment and create tech using that formula. And I hope that this will take you places. Do not hesitate to get into tech. It's not too hard. There are levels to it. Just find where your place is. I'll be happy to take any question, Modesta. And please, those two people that, yeah, let's
Okay.
I have a question here already. Okay. Okay, let me answer this question, Modesta, and what can you say about hologram in Nigeria? Hologram, okay. You have not even fixed technology. You're talking about hologram. So hologram is not a thing. Hologram is a artistic word. The word for that, the real word for that, the real skill for that is virtual reality or augmented reality. So definitely augmented reality, virtual reality is a big deal. I worked on a project on that with my school and BBC in 2016, and it was fascinating. We were looking at the whole city and having a hologram of the city and being able to see where we should change, where we should move things. And the reason why is because they wanted to convert the whole of Manchester to a smart city. And so we could use hologram to look at it and design. So hologram, and now I'm using that word hologram, but virtual reality and augmented reality, it plays a big role in being able to help education. That's where I see it functioning the most. So, for instance, think about learning carpentry, and you had a augmented reality showing you how to take the hammer, and you're following that thing, and you're putting the hammer, and you're nailing, and it's showing you how to cut something. It's because it's not real. It's not real. It's been augmented, but you can see it and you can use it to learn in real time. Maybe baking. You can have a hologram in your kitchen that shows you this is how to bake, and you're inside that kitchen and you can learn, okay, it's time to take the flour now, pour it. It's showing you, oh, that's enough. Virtual reality and augmented reality would be very, very good in the coming future. But for Nigeria, I don't think we're anywhere close to it. But please learn the skill for it, master some things from the Western world, come back and build that hologram for us. I trust you very much to do that for us, Dairo David. Ruth says, I dare. Okay, Modesta, I'm going to give it back to you to handle these questions, and I'll answer them one by one if you want me to do that.
Okay. First off, I like to think I actually learned a lot. Yeah. And I also wanted to ask my questions, but I think you should answer Ruth. I'll read out her questions. Are there security implications in using AI to digitize data? That's what she asked.
The question is an egg, to be honest. So using AI to digitize data. So AI, artificial intelligence is digitalized data already. It is digitalized data. So you can't use AI to digitalize data. It's how do you say this now? AI is a digitalized data. It's like you take data, like I said, data can be what is inside a human being's mind. I have the data of my name, who I am, I'm a boy, I walk in this particular way, I do this. If I take that and digitalize it and give a machine and say, this machine, I want you to practice this thing, this data that I've given to you, and use it to do something for me. So maybe every day I have to send an email to particular people in my company. I give the AI this data and I said, AI, I want you to send this data at this particular time to these people per time. It functions as a sort of robotic attachment to you, but it's data that is already digitalized. There are massive security implications to AI in the future, but it doesn't have to do with digitalization of data. It has to do with things like the access to the data. So, for instance, one of the security issues we see is, should we give artificial intelligence access to all data that we have? Like, for instance, imagine giving artificial intelligence access to nuclear warheads, where the artificial intelligence can just decide that I don't like Nigeria, and it just sends a nuclear bomb to disintegrate all of us. So that could be some of the security implication. The one we saw in China with the face recognition thing, I don't know if you've seen that movie on Netflix. That's another implication, the data protection. So imagine giving artificial intelligence the chance to be able to see a person's face and just give information about them or tell people where they are, or those are privacy breaching is another one with AI. So not giving AI all the data. But Ruth, just to answer that question, there's no security implication in using AI to digitize data, to be honest. And the question is sort of like, AI is actually a digitized data. If you want to look at It's not as basic as that. I'm saying that it's not as basic as that, but it's actually digitizing. It's actually digitizing data.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We've spoken a lot about AI. So I want to ask, like, in data modeling, how do you handle bias? So for example, when a data is trained for a particular demographics, if I want to get some information on, oh, how many people visit the supermarket in the evening, they'll probably give me the data based on, they got it from Seattle in USA. And I'm asking based on Nigeria. So how do you as a data scientist handle this bias in the modeling part?
Modesta, you have hit it on the head. I've said it already. You can't. The best way we need to do that now is get more people to do data analysis of African data and upload them. So when you're doing data modeling, you know that you have to pull data sets, right? You pull data set from maybe a data set that already exists, or you're pulling modules, or you're pulling modules and using them to test. So some modules has already been designed by the Western people. We need more Africans to write for Africa, and we need them to upload more African data. Like this thing, I can't say it enough, and that's why I enjoy what I do. I take data, like I've worked for governments, and every time they give me data, I tell them this data are giving me to do the analysis for or to convert to digital format. I am going to save them in Echo as verified data because I got it from you. And they'll be like, okay, no problem. And they don't know what they're doing, but I'm storing data. I'm keeping data in a repository to have an echo repository of Africa. So imagine having the echo of Lagos or the echo of your town. I would know the community there. There are men, women, what are the type of women they are. So imagine doing data for health now. I did data for health insurance. And the data they gave me for health insurance was comprehensive. But we were able to now see the type of people, the sickness they were getting from locations, those type of blood type, all those things. And that data now we have stored it. So imagine a health company wants to do analysis for AI for it's us that they will get African data from to counter that bias. But it's a big deal. There's so much papers on it on why it's not even just Africans. Even in the Western world, Black people data is now become a bias thing. So one of the ones that I worked on a project with was police officers. So they were putting AIs in those police officers' video camera thing, and the AI would put the Black person as a criminal first before any white person. Why? Because the data that the person has, the data that the AI has, is just data of white people, and white people are good, Black people are bad. Because why? It's the data we're capsulating. It's probably movies. Black people are bad in movies, shooting everywhere. So again, we need to start putting narratives of good data of ourselves out there. One of the ones that shocked me about Nigeria the most is that if you look at Nigeria's social media and the data we're putting out there, it's just horrible content. And we don't understand that these data can be converted to JSON data, and the AI will say, Nigeria is just skits, people. They just do skits. I don't know. Or what will you say about Nigeria? Nigeria is just laughing. I don't know which one to say. So we don't know that these things we're putting of ourselves out there is forming a persona of us. Now, the government is asking us to put our social media in our KYC for banks. And you're thinking, oh, I'm just putting it out there, nothing's happening. You are integrating your data. You are interconnecting your data to bigger sources of data. And who is managing the data for the government now? IBM. And so IBM has data of you and is integrating into your finance and say, this is why this person is a good finance person or not. And you're thinking nothing is happening there. And on your social media, you have gone to the club 3 times, and in front of you in the club, there's bottles. And the AI will say, wow, we cannot give this person money in this country because this person will spend it in these bottle places. And you're thinking, why am I not getting loan? They have used your data to design it like that. And this is why you should also be very cautious. And this is why I gave you the act and the art. Be very accountable of your character, your competence, your capability, of your time, thought, and talent. It's very important in this tech space. It's very important. And Africans are we're not being so far ahead of these things. And that's why different people have to start specializing, start learning that tech skills so that you can understand what this thing can do to us in the coming future. If we don't, I'm telling you guys, in the next future, we'll be colonized again by white people. They will just use technologies to do this time. And you think that the robot is the one talking to you now. No, that they've programmed it over time, writing algorithms, writing models, and modeling data in a way that would create that new type of system again. I hope Modesta answered that. We just need more data. We need to digitalize more Black people data. We need to digitalize more African data and put them into data sets. And we need to change the narrative of our data sets as we have it at this moment.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if there's anyone out there that has any questions. You can put that in the chat box. So I believe I'm speaking for everyone when I say this is actually amazing. I actually learned a lot, and I'm sure the participants here to learn a lot. So I want to just ask you something on their behalf. So for someone looking out to start in AI or data science, what do you think are the necessary things to put their mind into so it doesn't get overwhelming? The things they are going in there for, and how they can overcome this as a beginner. Yeah, so that's what I want to ask.
As a beginner, I would encourage you to take one step at a time. Just start one step. Just take one step at a time, right? But one of the other things that I'll add on top of that is to be purposeful. So I've said to you now that if you are not purposeful about something, but let me say it this way: if you're not purposeful about something, you'll get tired of the thing. You can't tell a sponge now that is washing plates that it should not wash plate again. Why? The purpose of that sponge is to wash plates. As a human being, if you don't become purposeful in life, if you don't say, my purpose is to do this, is to make sure that this thing is better. And as Africans, especially as Nigerians, I encourage us to do that. And Nigerians are always about, what do they call that thing now that they say? I learned it when I came to Nigeria, something. Vibes and inshallah. Is that what they say? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. You need to, I love whoever wrote Modesta, that's you. Know your why. There's a book about that called from Simon Sinek. Start with your why. If you have a chance, please read the book. Start with your why. If you know why you are doing it, you will not give up. That's why today when I spoke about it, I didn't speak about it from a place of, oh, go and make dollar, you can make dollar, you can get bigger jobs. Yeah, you will get bigger jobs. Life is, if you are doing good things, money will come your way. I've said it already. But first of all, take small steps. Don't overwhelm yourself. I've decided for the rest of my life that I will change Africa's economy using technology. I take small steps every day. Small steps. I'm telling you the smallest of steps. I take one small step today. Maybe I learned one thing today. I read one article today, read research today. I've designed structure for it, and I'll come back to the final statement I'll say in this. Take small steps. And then secondly, be purposeful. Make sure that you are deciding to be a purpose. You are deciding to be a sponge that washes plates. And it's not decide that. It's not a bad, so that even when you decide it, if anybody's talking, they're changing it for you, they are trying to discourage you, you know that the reason why is because I want to wash plates. I'm a sponge. I'm using these scenarios as an example so that you just remember them. Make sure you become as purposeful as that. If anybody you asked anybody that knows Samuel Efosa Austin, they call me the Echo. Anybody that knows me knows Sam is Echo. He's changing the economy. He's tech guy. Because it is now my purpose. So if they want to wash plates of tech, they'll call Sam. So it is that level you must get to in being purposeful so that you don't get tired. The reason why I'm saying this now is so that you don't get tired. I'm never tired. You call me to do tech today, I'm doing it. Even in my sleep, wake me up, say I'm tech. I'm like, where? Economics, I'm there. I'm not tired. I cannot even when I'm tired, my tired will be saying I'm not tired. I'm telling you because I'm excited. I'm purposeful. You can't tell the sponge now it's time to wash plate. The sponge is like, I'm still trying to learn how to be a sponge. Sponge will wash the plates. So it will never be tired of washing the plates. You even see when the sponge is tired, that sponge has finished, it will still be washing plates. So stay purposeful. And then finally, design your life to always learn, do, and create. I'll leave this one as the final thing. Design your life to always learn, do, and create. Learn, do, create. Learn, do, create. If you learn something and you're doing it and it's not creating something, go back and learn again. I'm telling you this thing now, and I'll use God to do this again. God himself came to earth. He's God. He came to earth. The Bible says that when he came to earth, the Spirit of God was hovering around the water. What was the Spirit of God doing? He was learning. And then God now did something. God spoke. Speaking is a doing, is a action, is a verb. He said, let there be light. And when he now did that, is until he did that light, he now started creating the whole earth, creating the water, the firmament, the air. So if you learn something and you are doing something and it's not creating something, go back and learn again. Go back to the learning. Go back and say, so that's why I say create a structure of learning, doing, and creating. And how do you learn? From YouTube videos. We have that now. You can learn, what is my learning style? Do I like to learn from videos? Do I like to learn from reading articles? Do I like to read books? Do I like to learn from my peers? Do I like to master your learning? Doing, how do I like to do things? Do I like to do it in the morning, in the afternoon? Do I like to do things that are fast-paced or slow-paced? Do I like to do things that are collaborative with other people? Do I like to do things? Yeah. And then you're creating. What am I creating? Is it creating impact? Is it creating value? Is it creating opportunities for people? Is it creating development? And I'll leave this one for you and I'll put this as a final thing. You have to fill a void. And the void is, we are all made to fill that void. In somebody's life, in community life, in the whole nation, in the world, you are feeling always a void. And if you don't learn, do, and create, you can't fill that void. And take it today, write this one down again. I'm always doing acronym. Void, value, opportunity, impact, and development. Make sure that you are creating these things for those void. You're creating value, you're creating opportunities, you're creating impact, you're creating development. Take it, for instance, value is for one person. Maybe you're giving value to your family, value to yourself. In opportunity, you're creating opportunity for other people, jobs, opportunity for yourself, opportunity for trees. I'm telling you, create opportunity for trees. Plant them around your house. Trees should be around your house. Create opportunity for animals. Create opportunity for, just create opportunity. Impact. Make sure that that thing you're doing, that thing you learned and you're doing is creating impact. That means it moves something from here to here. It was able to move a narrative. It was able to change policy. It's creating impact. And development. That one is for the nation, for the people, for the earth. Make sure you are developing. You are self-developing yourself, self-developing the nation. You are filling out a void. I think these are the structures I'll leave with you today to say, you can do the tech. It's not hard. Take small steps, be purposeful about it, and try to fill out a void by learning, doing, and creating. Thank you so much. I think I'll end there. If there's any other question, I'll take it. If not,
okay. Thank you so much. I believe we've learned a lot. So take it step by step, little by little. So don't feel overwhelmed. It's normal to compare yourself to someone big in the field. So you go on LinkedIn, you see someone with 10 years experience doing big things, and you're like, Jesus. I mean, when I was on LinkedIn, I was like, when I started on LinkedIn, I looked at people there and I was like, God, what is this? I was seeing a lot of beautiful dashboards, people analyzing this data. Someone is using snowflakes, and I'm here struggling with Python, this thing. And I'm like, okay, so it's better to swim in your lane. You are in it on your own, not on your own basically, but the comparison is between you and yourself. So I'm better than I was the previous time. So that's just basically how it should be. So I want to thank you so much, Samuel, for this. I mean, this is impromptu. We got to you around after 4 p.m. and here you are. I didn't know you were going to do this, but I really appreciate and thank you so much. How did they say? Having good people in your life is better than money or what? Well, this is really nice and I appreciate. So thank you so much. We'll end the meeting now and we'll want to do this again with you next time.
No problem. Thank you so much, guys. Anytime, please reach out.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.